Hi, I'm Michael Caju.
And I'm Adee Caju, and you're listening to the WAG podcast. This podcast is about health, wellness, and personal development.
Each episode is a short conversation between Adee and I on a single topic with actionable steps. We cover everything from food, mindset, fitness, and relationships.
We started WAG because of the way health and fitness changed our lives, so we hope to share a tool or two that helps you along your way.
Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Michael, and I'm here with my co-host Adee. And today we're talking about 8 surefire ways to piss off your partner. We've been together for almost 6 years. We've pissed each other off 100 to 1,000 times. And
Maybe
so we
10,
feel 10,000 hours. We feel very qualified to speak on this subject.
I feel like we're experts.
And if you pick up on some sarcasm and reverse psychology, you might learn some things about how to treat your partner better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like a lighthearted way of talking about what not to do.
So number 1 is give them unsolicited advice. If you really want to piss your partner off, just go around advising and telling them what to do all the time.
Yeah, I think this one, we're going to give examples of this just to like really drive it home. But one time when I think Michael was watching me work, or like the way my computer looked, or you saw something about my email setup.
I probably saw 50 open tabs on your internet browser.
And Michael just decided he was going to try and tell me how to manage and organize my email and or he saw our calendars are synced. So he can see how I schedule my meetings and he can see like all sorts of things. And he tries to just out of nowhere give me unsolicited advice about how to manage my time. And it was just not welcome. It was definitely unsolicited.
Especially given that at the time she was way better at time management than I am.
Yes.
And fast forward to today, she finally took my advice.
Well, I took your advice when I was ready to take it, right?
Yep.
I probably would have taken your advice sooner if you didn't try and push it on me earlier. I feel like that's definitely true.
For sure. Number 2 is if you really want to piss your partner off, talk about yourself constantly. And Adee used to piss me off so much when we first met. I remember we were living in Santa Cruz at the time, and so many times she would just kind of jaunt into the room where I was working. I was very focused, and she'd just start blurting out how her day was going and just completely talking about herself with no regard for what I was doing, where my headspace was at, not really asking me how I was doing, and it pissed me off.
I had a tendency to just have Michael keeps a lot of things in his head. I don't know how to do that sometimes. It just needs to come out. It just goes thought, bleh. And I realized that showing up that way is kind of like showing up at your friend's house unannounced and expecting that they give you all of their attention. It's just not nice. And I definitely did that all the time.
Number 3 is tell them you'll do something and then don't. That'll piss them off.
Yeah. So one example of this.
I do this all the time. Well, not as much anymore.
Not as much anymore. You actually do the things that I ask you to do. Sometimes it takes you way longer than I would like. Like, for example, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I asked you to read a couple of blog posts that I wrote, and they still haven't been read. And I know that you're going to get to them because Michael has this task management system that I know it's on his list. So I know he's going to get to it, but it's a low priority for him. And that's a surefire way to piss me off. But yeah, it's like that's just whether it's not quick enough or you feel like that person forgot about it is annoying.
Number 4 is ignore them.
Oh man. Maybe you can talk to your experience during this, but it hasn't happened really recently at all. But at the beginning of our relationship, I definitely am the needier one where I want a lot of attention. And Michael doesn't want to give me all of that attention.
I'm hoarding it.
So we would be we would be like on a road trip and he can't get away from me. Like he just can't get away from me. We're in the car and I want all of your attention.
She's just staring at me for minutes and I could feel it. That also pissed me off.
And I would just be looking at him, talking to him, and he would be intentionally ignoring me. Like he's driving, so he definitely shouldn't be looking at me for too long. But
she expects me to, though.
He could just, give me a quick glance. But I could tell it was intentional that he was not looking at me. Like he's like, I know you're looking at me, and I'm not going to give you the attention that you're looking for.
We had a pretty good breakthrough at Burning Man a couple years ago where this was brought to the surface. And I made a commitment to do one of two things. Well, actually, no, do the same thing every time, which is to look her in the eyes every time she's speaking to me, as long as I'm aware of my behavior. And then I can either do one of two things. I can either A, be fully present and listen and give her full attention, or I can say, hey, I'm doing something right now and I don't want to, or I can't pay attention to you right now, rather than the passive aggressive or just passive approach where I was trying to get her to read my mind.
Yeah. I think at Burning Man 2, you realize that if you just gave me high quality attention, I wouldn't be as needy for it. So I would be full and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm good. Yep. Instead of just, I was definitely grasping and wanting attention.
But if you're really aiming to piss your partner off, definitely ignore them. Number 5 is be on your phone as much as possible around them. Adee pissed me off for years being on her phone. We'd be at restaurants. The first thing when we would wake up in the morning,
how many likes I had.
Check the likes and the emails and the text and the whatever. And
it turned into a joke where Michael would be like, just check it, babe. Oh, just check it. Quick check.
We're watching a movie. Just give it a quick check.
Like, just check
You're not
it, babe.
Stimulated enough by this $1 billion film. You need Instagram as well.
And it would the humor of that would just snap me out of it. But he'd be like, yeah, babe, just check it. You got to just check it.
Number 6 is when they talk about their problems, make sure to let them know that they're not actually problems.
Yeah. So this past weekend, we went snowboarding in Utah. And on day 3, so we had done 2 full days of snowboarding all day. And on day 3, the boot on my left foot was really digging into my shin. And it was 8 out of 10 painful for me. I couldn't even lightly touch it without it being so painful. And so I was going to the rental place to see if I could switch boots, if maybe a new pair of boots would put the pressure in a different way. And it was definitely taking a good bit of time. And so Michael came over to me and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, this bruise on my shin is just hurting so bad. I'm trying to find another pair of boots so I could even snowboard today. And he was like, yeah, my shin's really hurting me too. I'm just like, I wanted to strangle him. Obviously, it wasn't hurting him bad enough that he literally could not go snowboarding for the day. And I was pissed off.
You see, I'm very skilled at this. Number 7 is when they talk about their problems, try to fix them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I can't necessarily think of a specific example, but like I can think of times where I've been tired or I've been sad, and sometimes I just want you to be there for me, just like acknowledge that I'm sad and tired.
Yeah, I think most often it shows up if you're like angry and you want to vent about something. I tend to want to avoid confrontation or conflict, and I want to fix that as quickly as possible and like avoid having to like sit with you in those emotions without just like hearing you out, letting you know that I understand you.
Yeah. And that's part of my process sometimes is just to like let it out, just like talk about what I'm angry about and not even do anything about it. Just getting it out makes me feel better.
And then number 8 is when they tell you something they're excited about, quickly change the topic to something you want to talk about.
I do this a lot.
She does this a lot and it makes me sad. Like when I was I got off of a coaching call where I was getting coaching from someone kind of like a life coach or therapist. And I had this kind of aha moment and I told it to her. I expected her to be really excited with me. And then she was like, okay, let's talk about something else. Like what I want to talk about.
I was probably just like, cool. Can you take out the trash?
Yep, that did it. She's also skilled.
It's funny because there's this it's a bit ironic, I guess. Is ironic the word? The person that you're the closest to, you become the most skilled at pissing off. And you just learn about each other and you're most comfortable with each other. And you have trust that the person's going to love you anyways after. So you don't have as many guards up of trying to be a certain way to get, you already know this person loves you. You already know they like you. So you're ready to like let a couple layers go. So it's just funny how life works that way. Like the people that you care about and you love the most, you piss off the most.
And I just want to say that if you're just getting into the work of pissing your partner off, like if you have a perfect relationship right now and you kind of want to move in the direction of pissing him or her off more, don't start with all 8 of these at once. Maybe just do one. Maybe just start giving them unsolicited advice all the time. Master that and then move on.
Okay. Funny, babe. Hilarious. Don't do any of them. And if you do, that's okay. We do them too.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us. Stay in touch by signing up for our newsletter at workingagainstgravity.com or on Instagram at workingagainstgravity.
And don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and refer a friend. We'll be back next week with another episode. Talk to you then.